No cuts! No closures! 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 No cuts! No closures!
Oh yeah, that's good. Good job, guys.
The only ones that parties that are viable are built on economic
area. Get people to work, they pay into the
Then when Ray Ray started up again, Katie goes, Vince, go over there and tell Ray Ray that's all.
You're for Smith?
Huh?
You're for Smith?
I don't know, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the lady seems to be super sales.
Yeah.
From the bake sale by 483, would you like a cookie?
I'd love one.
There you go,
Thanks,
Mr.
from
Edinburgh.
483.
That's the 483 bake sale. You know, they raised $500, and so they've almost raised enough to save the city budget, save the workers, and save the parks and stuff. They only need 17.4999 million more, and then they'll save the city from economic disaster.
It's a start. Now we need the city to help pitch in.
That's right.
Yes.
We've done our $500. Now they do 17.5 million.
Okay, and we'll keep doing this.
That's right. 1%.
Oh, I got a vest. So you know all too well then. Oh, wonderful. Right?
Oh.
Here for an hour and a half. Smooth it. I'm going to smooth his hair over.
Save the mail, dump the GOP, huh?
Well, the Republicans are really after the post office. Post office is one of the biggest unions in the United States. That's why they're after their butts. So I thought I'd do two in one shot. We have to save the post office because a lot of elderly people like myself depend on the mail. I get all my prescriptions through the mail. So it would directly affect me if I was living in an unpopulated area that has one post office. So the post office general should rethink it and fire all the goddamn representatives or the politicians. Just fire them all and start over again.
And start working with the people at the bottom who need these services.
Yeah, just fire them all. Just tell them don't come to work anymore.
our jobs.
Well,
We'll pay you unemployment, but don't come to work anymore.
it would improve things.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Congress should stop this. This is nuts.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm here.
Okay, well, thanks for being out.
Okay.
Okay, man. Individualsforjustice.com.
This guy on the street.
Yeah, it's. Well, they set up a thing with companies a number of years back.
They say come back! We say fight back! They say come back! We say fight back! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No jobs! No peace! No jobs! No peace! No closures! No cuts! 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 No closures! No closures! No cuts! No closures! No cuts!
Sign in if you haven't signed in.
They say cut back! We say fight back! They say cut back! We say fight back! They say cut back!
We say fight back!
They say cut back!
We say fight back!
We
say fight back!
sheet when I first got here.
We say fight
Closures! No cuts! We say fight back! We say fight back! We say fight back! We say fight back!
Okay, I'm right here.
5K, no way! 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 No way!
So 6 hours a day, 5 days.
No way!
fight days!
Fight back! We say fight back! We say fight back! 5K, no way! 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 5K, no way!
5 days! No!
Saved post office.
Got to go! Hey, hey!
6-day
Ho,
service.
ho! Union buses have got to go! Hey, hey!
From the main post office in Portland, Oregon.
Fight back! We say fight back!
Say cut back! We say fight back!
We say fight back! Fight back!
Fight back! They say cut back! We say fight back! They say cut back! We say fight back! We don't need a bailout. We just want to get the bailout. We don't need a bailout. We just want to get the bailout. We don't need a taxpayer want to get the mail out. We don't need a taxpayer bailout. We just want to get the mail out. We don't need a taxpayer bailout. We just want to get the mail out. We don't need a taxpayer bailout. We just want to get the mail out.
And Jeff Anderson.
Not one dime of taxpayer dollar is needed to save America's Postal Service. Not one dime. Why? Because since 1971, we've been a different part of the government not needing tax dollars. Since 1982, we have not needed one dime for operations. 1982, no tax dollars for operations. But in the 1980s, the Reagan administration drained off billions. Then in 2006, the Bush administration put in a congressional bill that required the Postal Service to pay 75 years of future retirees' health benefits in a 10-year period. $5.5 billion. We were set up for failure just before the recession hit because $5.5 billion, what company can operate with that kind of a drain? Well, guess what? It went into the budget of the U.S. government, and that's where it's at. We're saying we can fix the Postal Service without tax dollars, but we need that money that we've overpaid into our retirement systems and into future retiree health benefits. That's the Postal Service money. It's not the tax dollars. It's those people who pay by sending their bills by the mail, by sending their grandchildren their birthday cards. You know, the Postal Service is the last mile of delivery for FedEx and UPS because they don't go out to the rural areas. They have the Postal Service deliver it. But guess what? They're going to close all these rural post offices. Why? Because they're trying to kill the Postal Service. We have a lot of good speakers here today to talk about what the issues are. Again, I'm very grateful for all of you to be here. As I said today to the firefighters, the Postmaster General has wrecked the Postal Service and we're needing everyone's help. And the firefighters have responded. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Jobs with Justice. Thank you to all the unions here. We're together. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Kevin Card, the president of the State Association of Letter Carriers. Kevin Card.
How you doing? Beautiful day to be a letter carrier, huh? I've been a letter carrier for 27 years. I have, you guys are my customers, and I thank you. I've worked for you for 27 years, and I'm very proud to be an employee of the American public. You know, the post office is in a manufactured crisis, like Jim said right now. A lot of the stuff you're hearing on the news about how we're going out of business, how we're losing billions of dollars, has a lot to do with what Congress has done to us, not for us. Today, a very important bill made it to the Senate floor, Senate Bill 1789, which, as it sits right now, is going to get rid of door-to-door delivery. It's going to make every postal patron walk down to a corner to an aluminum box and pull their mail out of it. Okay? It is going to destroy over 100,000 good family wage jobs in the Postal Service and thousands more across this country. We are part of a $1.3 trillion business that keeps America connected, which we've been doing for over 237 years. So we're asking for your support today. If anybody got one of these flyers, there's a toll-free number which will connect you with both Senator Wyden and Merkley's office, so you can let them know that this is a bad bill, that we do not want this passed, that we're going to preserve the public postal service, and that you deserve it. You know, we're not a red post office, and we're not a blue post office. We are a red, white, and blue post office, ladies and gentlemen. All right? This post office doesn't belong to the Postmaster General. It doesn't belong to any of the people in this building. It belongs to you, the American people. And it's up to all of you to rise up right now, Portland Rising, just like we like to do, and make that phone call. Let them know that the American people deserve a first-class postal service. That it doesn't belong to anybody but us. And it's our turn now to let them know that we can fix this thing. But it's very urgent because the Postal Service came out with a 5-year plan. They call it the path to profitability. It's more like the path to privatization. It's going to destroy local post offices. It's going to close down thousands of small post offices around the country. It is going to totally decimate a lot of the sorting facilities. It's going to make it impossible for the people in Eugene and Springfield and Bend and even here in Portland to drop a letter in the mailbox and have it delivered across the street the next day. And that is wrong, brothers and sisters. This is your postal service. It's time for you people, for all of us to rise up and let them know that America deserves a first-class postal service, and we're going to take it back. Thank you very much.
We have a representative from the Rural Organizing Project. If you would come forward, we'd appreciate it.
I'm Kara Schufeld. I'm an organizer and the director of the Rural Organizing Project. That's out of Scappoose. If you head towards Astoria, you'll go through Scappoose pretty quickly, but you will go through it. And I'm here to tell you today that actually it's not just a Portland Rising. It's a Summer Lake Rising. It's a Fort Klamath Rising. It's an Agnes Rising. It's a Deadwood Rising. It's a Swiss Home Rising. These are communities who are facing closures of their rural post offices. In November, ROP got a call from folks in Deadwood and Swiss Home that said, we've done everything. We've done petition signatures. We've been on the phone with Merkley. We've been communicating with our county commissioners. We've been organizing. We've gone to every single door in our town to talk to folks. We've gathered at the post office and developed next steps. And actually, we decided to call ROP because we decided it's time to occupy. It's time to show that we occupy our post offices, that rural and small town Oregonians, that Oregonians all over the state, people all over this country use their post offices, and they need this service. So in less than a month, we organized Occupy Our Post Offices. These are in towns that have 200 people, 400 people. You know, you wouldn't expect it to be the heart of the Occupy movement or the heart of the resistance movement to the shutting down of the U.S. Postal Service. 23 communities in rural and small town Oregon occupied their post offices on December 19th. And that's where we gathered over 1,600 petition signatures. Now on the street corner in Portland, you could probably gather that a little bit quicker than you can in the smallest towns of Oregon. So if you could imagine that work that went into gathering 1,600 petition signatures and then coordinating on the same day, visiting all of our members of Congress, saying we need to save this service, we need to deal with the 2006 legislation that's the real crisis, and we need to support all Oregonians across the state and all people across this country, whether you live in the big city, whether you live in the smallest town. I just got back from Summer Lake, Oregon, which is, if any of you know where Medford is, and then you go east, you'll get to Klamath Falls, and then you go east, you get to Lakeview, and then you go north, and you get to Summer Lake. And I hung out with some retired postmasters there, the owner of the general store, and these folks literally, the organizing they did to save their post office was incredible. But the heart of their stories wasn't just all the testimonies they put together, the research they did on the wind impacts, to travel to the next post office and what the wind and the weather is like and how they'll be hard for folks in their community. But the heart of their stories was actually about it being a community hub. That literally, this is where seniors meet on a day-to-day basis. That the rural post offices are oftentimes the heart of the community, oftentimes the only thing in the community, maybe a country store as well. So the service is not only important for mail delivery, it's also important for folks to be able to meet and come together in their communities. So there is a rising happening. And it's a rising happening all across Oregon. It's happening in Portland. It's happening in the smallest towns. And it's really been, I want to thank you all for being here and for doing this and for standing up. And I want you to know that I came because I'm the closest. Scappoose is the closest, but there are folks from every corner of this state rallying with us, and they've got incredible stories to tell, and they're doing incredible work. And the work of a rural postmaster is a lot more than getting folks their mail. It's also about saving lives. It's also about recognizing whose mail is piling up. We better go by and figure out why they haven't come and picked it up. I've heard stories about people coming in with snake bikes, and it's the postmaster who calls and gets a helicopter lift out, or someone calls delirious. The postmaster shuts the post office, goes to their house, finds out they've fallen and they're bleeding, and they put them in the car and drive them 2 hours to the closest hospital. So this is an institution that our communities need. And so the Oregon Rising, congratulations, way to go, and rural and small town Oregon is standing in solidarity.
Thank you, Kara, and Rural Organizing Project. Well, as I mentioned, how many firefighters we have? Yeah! Now that's what we need tax dollars for? Yes! For the services were essential. We don't need tax dollars to save the post office. But let's put our taxes where they're most benefit to the human beings in our society, right? All right, and so we owe firefighters a tremendous debt of gratitude. Well, we have a firefighter with us right now to speak. However, he's speaking as the president of the Oregon AFL-CIO. Tom Chamberlain needs no introduction, but brother, step on up.
Good afternoon, my sisters and brothers. You know, I've been standing in that line watching folks drop off their taxes, and I gotta tell you, I don't see a lot of Bentleys, and I don't see a lot of Porsches, and I don't see a lot of Cadillacs. What I would see is a lot of 99%ers paying their fair share to keep this damn country running. My brothers and sisters, you know, what we have going on in this country in this drive to privatization, this drive for competitiveness is really a concerted effort to turn the public good into a private commodity. They've done it to education. Only if you're rich enough, you're going to take your kids out of school. They're doing it in the Postal Service. They're underfunding our fire service. You can't name a service in this country that isn't underfunded. We are no longer a country that takes care of one another. God forbid you're sick. God forbid you lose your job. God forbid that your kid has an ailment and you don't have health care. You know, one thing we do in the fire service is we have a saying. We don't back down. We don't run from a fight. It's time for America to stand up and say no to cuts in the Postal Service. Right. It's time for Americans to stand up and say we're not going to back down, and the 1% is going to pay their damn share, and we're going to pass tax reform in this country. It's time that we don't run from bad trade agreements and we take them head on, because we know we need those jobs to fund this economy. Bring them back. You know, we built this damn city. We built this damn country. And I gotta ask you, whose post office is that? Our post office. Whose streets are these? Our streets. Whose buildings are these? Our buildings. Whose nation is this? Our nation. Don't let them take it from you. Stand up and keep coming back. Thank you, my sisters and brothers.
Thank you, Brother Chamberlain. Yes. We're rising up. Say no to Senate Bill 1789. No to 1789. Now, Senators Wyden and Merkley are opposed to it, but they need to be reminded that they can't vote for it in any version. 1789 is rotten to the core. But there's an alternative, Senate Bill 1853. So what we want right now is to keep on the speakers, because there's so many people who can share why it's important to save our Postal Service. Right now, I'm very fortunate to introduce Linda DeLucia. She's with the Oregon Alliance for Retired Americans. Linda, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. For those of you who don't know who the Alliance for Retired Americans is, I would just like to say that we are part of a national alliance that represents retired union members across the spectrum of all unions, both public sector and private sector unions. Right here in Oregon, our Oregon chapter president is a retired postal worker, Scott Blau. So we come to you today to support you on two fronts. First of all, of course, we support or we oppose the cutting of thousands and thousands of good family wage jobs. And of course, we oppose the destruction of our postal system, which has served us all for so many years, for all of the years of our life. We don't want to lose it now. Second of all, we come to you representing seniors. As many people know, there are seniors who live alone, and they are housebound, both in metropolitan areas and in rural areas. These seniors depend on timely postal delivery of their medications, of medical equipment, of other necessary items that they cannot get any other way. And rural seniors are even in a worse position because their service is threatened altogether. Now, there are some seniors who see no one else all day but the mail carrier. And we know that there are mail carriers who take care of seniors. They watch over them to make sure that they are okay. So if these cuts go through, if they are passed, seniors may very well be the #1 community that is negatively impacted by them after the postal workers. So I don't want to take up a lot of your time today. I'm just here to say that we support you, we oppose these cuts, and we are willing to do whatever is necessary to help you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Linda. Wesley, are you available?
Here.
Thank you. Wesley's with the, he's a city worker, and as we all know, all workers around the world are under attack. But right here in our city, we want to support each other, right?
Woo!
Solidarity forever. Portland's a union town. Oregon's a union state. We're going to stay that way, not like Indiana and the other places that have gone right to work. So right now, Wesley's going to share a few of the issues that they're going through, and we appreciate your attention.
Thank you all for coming out. I just wanted to say that my name is Wesley. I work with Laborers Local 483. I'm a proud employee of the city of Portland, and I couldn't be prouder to stand with my brothers and sisters here today to defend a right that we all have, which is for decent wage jobs. The postal workers are exemplary in this. They deliver efficient services, and they have for years, and we have to stand up for these people. I also wanted to say that what Brother Chamberlain said earlier is exactly what's going on. This is about more than Gresham Barlow. This is about more than Portland City Hall budget cuts. This is about austerity. This is about attacks on working people all over the world. I want to read you a quote from John L. Lewis, the longtime president of the United Mine Workers of America. He said this about workers during the Great Depression. He said, "The workers of the nation grew tired of waiting for the corporate industry to right their economic wrongs, to alleviate their social agonies, and to grant them their political rights. Despairing for fair treatment, they resolved to do something for themselves." And they did. They organized and they built the most powerful economy this country has ever seen. And they based it on the idea that there's no such thing as menial work. There's only menial wages. Now, here we are, 70 years later, and the greedy bastards have figured out a way, once again, to take what they feel is theirs. We can't allow that to happen. We have to stand together. Every time there's a chance to fight, like right here, we have to stand up together. We have to create a unified voice. We must, at every opportunity, protect each other. Solidarity is the key, and unity is the way forward. When we speak as one, we can deliver the message that living wage jobs, affordable housing and transportation, retirement with dignity, universal health care for all, these are not the privilege of the elite. These are the given rights of all working people. These are our birthrights. When we stand up as one, we will deliver that message. Can I get, we are one. We are one. We are one. Solidarity. Thank you.
We're with you in solidarity as well, brother. Thank you. Jack Depew is here with Occupy Portland Elder Council. Let's give him a hand. Thank you, Occupy.
Stephen Post.
Preaching, brother.
My name is Jack, and I'm here today representing the Occupy Elder Caucus. As our mission statement says, quote, to mobilize ourselves and other elders to participate in, support, encourage, and enrich Occupy Portland through nonviolent action. As Daniel Ellsberg and Helen Caldecott have said recently, I had almost given up hope. We stand in solidarity with Occupy Wall Street and occupiers around the world, with Jobs with Justice, Laborers Local 483, Amalgamated Transit Union 757 and Opal, National Association of Letter Carriers Branch 82, workers and unions around the world, and all of those who participated in today's actions, including the live stream teams who do such great work in providing us with a living alternative to the mainstream media. If you really want to see what's happening, go to the media tab at occupyportland.org. We are the 99%. I guess I don't need to remind and inform you from what you've heard, but the U.S. Postal Service is not broke. They've been hamstrung by Congress, who, according to the U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, quote, quote, shall have power to establish post offices and post roads. Instead, this Congress has been in the process of destroying that most important public service. I repeat, service. The Postal Service was never meant to perform as a for-profit business using a 1%er business model. No. It was meant to assure communication for the people, and it costs us nothing in tax dollars. Nothing. The results of the invasion of this public service will be many, and you have heard of them. These cuts will result in closures of post offices and distribution centers, which will put thousands out of work or forced into too early retirement. It will result in delays in and additional costs of delivery of medications, community newspapers, bill payments, letters to our loved ones, to name only a few. As a letter carrier said to me prior to a recent action, if you think it's snail mail now, just wait. And that can be deadly. Community actions such as this have postponed the closures and layoffs until May 15th. Please continue to be involved in keeping this from happening in whatever nonviolent way you can. And I have one more thing to ask of you. Before you leave here today, exchange phone numbers, email addresses with people you don't know. Smile, introduce yourself, because this is what democracy looks like. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Occupy, for all your support here and all through this struggle. Right now, I'd like to know how many postal workers and letter carriers are out there. Let's hear it. See, there's a lot of us, but there's more community. That's what we need. Thank you. We're not talking about our jobs, because every job's under attack these days. What we're talking about is the institution and saving it. It's extremely important. And right now we have a speaker. He's president of the American Postal Workers, Portland area local. Brian Dunsmore is going to speak. And then we have a couple other speakers and then music. So we have the post riders special song for this occasion has been written. So we're hoping that the rain continues to hold off, and we are so grateful for all of this. Thank you. Brian.
Providence.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming out. We really appreciate your support. I'm Brian Dunsmore. I'm president of the American Postal Workers Union. I represent all the clerks, maintenance, and MVS people that work in this building 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I've been a proud postal worker for 15 years. I've been a user of the mail my entire life. From the day when I was born and that first birthday card my grandparents put a buck in it, until I was about 16, and then unfortunately the next year the money went away. But I still get those birthday cards every year. My son's right down here. His grandmother, through the mail, mailed us, through media mail, books. And we're reading those books right now. And we have a lot of supporters out there that go, well, if you slow down the mail, if you do this, they'll just go to the competitors. Bull. There is nobody who competes with the United States Postal Service. We deliver 160 billion pieces a year at a cost of pennies. Our competitors, to send those same books, charge $16. It wouldn't have happened. What will happen is communication will stop. You'll use email. Right, when you got a job and you can afford the $40 to pay for internet. What we're talking about is reform. We got to get it done. The Postmaster General is going to shut everything down. We got 1 month. The bill that came up today was stopped. I don't call them by Democrats, but it wasn't stopped in a good way. It was stopped by Rand Paul. I don't call them Democrats and I don't call them Republicans. There's a bunch of guys out there I call corporats. All they're looking to do is tear us down and privatize. And that's what he's about. That's what McCain's about. And over in the House, that's what Issa and Ross are about. It's just tearing us apart and giving it to their buddies. Everybody, there's been some really good speakers here today. And Jamie was leading everybody really loud. I want you to pull out your cell phones. Because they can't hear us, folks. I can yell, and I can yell, and I can yell, but they cannot hear me in D.C. So pull out your phone right now. Right now, brothers and sisters, citizens of the United States, exercise your right to speak to your senator and call 1-202. Right now, brothers. What are you waiting for? Because they're going to shut us down. 1-202-224-3121. I'm doing it too. 1-202-224-3121. And I don't care who you talk to. Merkley, Wyden, Reed. Wrong number. Oh my God. 202.
It's a tape. No, it's a tape. It's a tape.
Is that all circuits are busy?
All circuits are busy. Keep down. Read down until you get through.
That's the U.S.
On your flyers.
That's all right. I got you told that the lines are busy, but I got the cabinets.
Standing out here in the rain ain't gonna do it. You gotta get through. Make the effort and keep doing it.
All right. What? Closing comments, because I got Marco.
Yeah. He's trying to kick me off. Hey, thanks everybody. Keep up the good work.
Brother, I'm a letter carrier and I can see that rain coming.
Don't privatize it.
We have one more
Don't
speaker.
shut it down.
Marco, come on up.
Give that message to whoever has
Marco's
the power
with
to
Jobs
keep
with
this thing
Justice.
going.
How many are with Jobs
Keep
with
this
Justice?
thing
Portland
going.
Rising. Yeah!
Keep it going. Keep it going.
Thank you very much,
you.
and I'm gonna be pretty brief. But any of you, did you sign up already for this sign-up sheet that I got here? If you didn't, you have to do it. Because today, we're gonna continue doing what Jobs with Justice is doing always for us, the working class and the communities here in Portland. It is promoting worker solidarity and community solidarity. So if we sign up, we will be able to call you and to invite you to the other events. And I just wanted to mention, I totally appreciate what was said before. And just to remind me that today reminds us that we live in a very funny country. It's very funny country because the government and the politicians are very hard working to create jobs, right? Have you heard that? Everyone, from the left to the right, from up and down. But what are they trying to do with this bill and other bills? They want to cut jobs, good jobs, and create actually low-wage jobs. That the private sector is the one that's going to be owning those. We're not going to be able to organize, and we're not going to be able to have any security to be able to defend ourselves. So we better keep the fight and continue working. And we're here, as the brothers and sisters said already, Portland Rising is going to continue. Today was another day. It was number 5 Portland Rising. There we go, Jamie. Isn't it good? So we're going to continue doing it and promoting work in solidarity. So wait for the email and the mail and those postcards that we send to invite you to the next event. So I just want to thank everyone for coming here, and we're going to end up, and I'm going to end up with the chant that we heard today from Jamie. When the postal workers are under attack, what do we do? When the postal workers are under attack, what do we do? Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to have music now. We have the Post Riders. Now, Post Riders are postal workers mostly, but they're also relatives of Brother Peter Shapiro. And Peter wrote a song, and so we're going to hope that the music can continue with the rain anyway. So we're going to take this out of the way, brother. Okay. Peter, check that one, please.
I just want to remind everybody that Peter Shapiro wrote this song.
Oh, I had a little help.
And Mark helped, his cousin, Mark Loring. And I'm making him sing too. Me people and listen to my tale. 6 days a week I walk these streets delivering the people's mail. I give you all the best I can and never do you wrong. I earn an honest living and keep my union strong.
My route is nothing extra, so that I will not tell. And here's to all you sorters, I'm sure I wish you well. We found this mighty nation up with pride and skill and pluck, but they say it ain't worth nothing if it don't make a buck.
Our health plan's overfunded, so all the smart guys say, let's give the dough to Wall Street to gamble it away. But the PO ain't no slush fund, we dare not let it fail. Let's use that extra money to move the people's mail.
On hiring, and that just would not stand. And now they're cutting service friends, it's got way out of hand. They say 5-day delivery is gonna make things better. Forget about your vote by mail and old granddaddy's letter.
I bring you all your magazines, your methods and your meds. Your stamping pays my wages, not a nickel from the feds. But if you don't want to lose it, you'll have to up and say, now listen to me, Congress, don't take my mail away!
This congressman named Isa, I guess you know him well. He doesn't like our union, he'd send us straight to hell. When he was just a young punk, he'd rip off people's cars. But before he steals our mail, folks will see him behind bars.
This senator named Lieberman, an awful holy Joe. He doesn't make much sense to me, but hey, what do I know? He's a big shot politician, I'm just a working stiff. To he'd save the Postal Service, he'd drive it off a cliff.
Here's to Bernie Sanders, an honest man and true. To keep the mails a-moving, he'll fight for me and you. But he can't do it by himself, he needs you at his side. The mails belong to everyone, we can't afford to hide.
And here's to all the country folk who need their old P.O. And all of those in far-off climes where FedEx will not go. No matter where you make your home, no matter what you earn, you have a right to timely service, and it's time that Congress learn.
Pete Shapiro, folks.
Yay, Peter!
Thank you, Post Riders! And I want to thank Jamie Partridge and the organizing committee as well. Thank you, brother Jamie. You've all been wonderful. Thank you. And we got this fight, as always, the struggle continues. Thanks again to Jobs with Justice, Occupy, and all the people represented here today. Can't be listed because we're all of America. Thank you.
All right.